Welcome to this explainer. Now, I want you to imagine something for a second. You're walking through a really busy space. Maybe you're rushing to catch a flight, or you're shoulder to shoulder with people at a sold-out concert. Your wallet is completely secure in your pocket. Your phone is tucked away. Nobody even bumps into you. But then an alert pops up on your screen. Your bank account was just drained. Welcome to the invisible heist. Today, we're unraveling a highly sophisticated digital crime known as ghost tapping. This is where victims in crowded areas have their digital wallets completely emptied, all without anyone ever physically laying a finger on them. 150%. That is roughly how much reports of this invisible cybercrime have surged over the past year alone. So we're not talking about some rare theoretical glitch here. It is a rapidly growing epidemic that is targeting everyday people. Criminals have basically figured out exactly how to weaponize the very convenience we all rely on for quick checkouts and transit taps. Section 1. The invisible pickpocket. Okay, before we dive into exactly how they pull this off, we really need to clear up a common bit of confusion. You might have actually heard the term ghost touching before. Well, that is simply a harmless hardware glitch. Like a dirty or damaged phone screen registering random taps that you didn't actually make. But our subject today is ghost tapping, and believe me, it is highly intentional, malicious, and totally fraudulent. It's not a glitch at all. It's a targeted attack. So how are they operating in these packed environments? Well, scammers will literally walk right through a mall or an airport with hidden NFC readers completely concealed inside their backpacks or jackets. They just stand near you. That's it. The reader pings the contactless cards or the digital wallet sitting right inside your pocket, and that triggers a small unauthorized transaction. It's usually a test charge, right around $5 to $10. They start small, just to ensure the card actually works and to avoid triggering any immediate fraud alerts from your bank before they go in for a much larger theft. Section 2. 2 ways they strike. This invisible heist is actually pulled off using 2 completely distinct tactics. The first is the NFC or contactless relay attack, which basically steals your physical proximity. The second is phone takeover malware, and this tactic is arguably even more insidious because it steals remote control of your actual screen. Both of them end in your money vanishing, but the mechanics behind them are entirely different. Let's break down the NFC relay first. Understanding the logic of this attack chain is absolutely crucial. Step 1 is data theft. Scammers steal your card or mobile wallet info through phishing, data breaches, or sometimes even fake charity vendors asking for tap-to-pay donations. Then, step 2, they clone that stolen information right onto their own burner phone or virtual wallet. Step 3 is where the magic happens, the NFC relay. Using specialized malware, the scammer makes a payment terminal genuinely believe your actual card or phone is physically tapping it, even if you're sitting at home miles and miles away. And finally, step 4, the system sees the handshake as completely legitimate, and the transaction goes right through. Now, let's talk about the second tactic, phone takeover malware. This one usually starts with a smishing text, which is just an SMS phishing message, or maybe a call claiming you owe overdue highway tolls or a shipping fee. You click the fake link, enter your details, and unwittingly install a remote access Trojan. Suddenly, your phone is completely possessed. Without you ever touching it, the scammers gain remote control. You can literally watch as buttons press themselves, apps open, passwords get changed, and your credit cards are added directly to the scammer's Apple Pay or Google Pay wallet. It's terrifying. Section 3. The masterminds behind the screen. If we trace the origins of this specific NFC fraud, it takes us right back to criminal groups operating out of Singapore and the Czech Republic. But it definitely hasn't stayed there. Today, the barriers to entry for this crime are astonishingly low. The tools you need, like that NFC relay malware, are readily sold on the messaging app Telegram and in fake app stores. They even come completely packaged with full instruction manuals. Because it's just so accessible now, the criminals range widely, from solo actors hitting up local concerts for a few grand, all the way up to massive organized crime syndicates pulling in 6 figures. To put that kind of scale into perspective, $355,000. Data shows that just one single malware vendor made over $355,000 between November 2024 and August 2025. That is a massive financial haul in under a year, and that's from just one supplier of the tools. With profit margins looking like that, it's really no wonder these cases are absolutely skyrocketing. Section 4. Spotting the warning signs. Since the actual theft happens totally invisibly, here are the major red flags you really need to be watching for. First, those small random charges we discussed earlier, the little $5 to $10 test taps. Second, seeing transactions processed in locations or cities you weren't even at. That's a classic sign of an NFC relay attack. Third is that completely creepy possessed phone scenario where your apps are opening autonomously. And finally, you should be highly suspicious at physical checkouts if a vendor aggressively rushes you, tries to hide the terminal screen, or tells you something like, "Oh, the first card didn't work, tap it again." They might actually be capturing your data for a relay. So, when are you actually the most vulnerable to all of this? Well, experts like Lori Greiner and news outlets like CBS LA have issued some pretty serious warnings that this crime dramatically spikes during the holiday shopping season. And it makes perfect sense, right? Malls are packed, people are rushing around, and everyone is entirely distracted. It's basically the ultimate smokescreen for a scammer carrying a hidden NFC reader. Section 5. How to protect your wallet. All right, let's talk defense. Let's start with defeating those physical NFC and tap-to-pay scams. First things first, turn on instant push alerts on your phone for every single bank transaction. That way, you catch those small test charges immediately. Second, lock down your payments. Require Face ID or a fingerprint for every single tap, and go ahead and disable Express Transit Mode, since that actually bypasses those locks. Third, use RFID blocking wallets or sleeves to stop those backpack readers, and try to keep your cards away from the outer edges of your bags. And importantly, whenever possible, prefer using credit cards over debit cards, simply because credit cards offer vastly superior fraud protection if the worst does happen. Now for defending against those terrifying phone takeover scams. The rules here are pretty strict. Do not click unknown links and never install apps outside of official app stores. Always keep your phone's software updated so you're patching up any new vulnerabilities. And most crucially, never ever hand over verification codes from text messages to anyone. Seriously, that is exactly how they bypass your security to add your card to their digital wallet. And if you ever even suspect your phone is compromised, disable remote access immediately. Well, we've definitely covered a lot of ground today, going from hidden backpack scanners to possessed smartphones and organized crime networks selling malware toolkits. Look, technology has made paying for our morning coffee smoother than ever, but it's also opened a highly sophisticated backdoor right into our bank accounts. So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. In a world of invisible hands, how secure is your next tap? Keep your alerts on, protect your codes, and stay vigilant out there. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.